Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude BeyondMystic, and welcome to this very special episode of Tarot Readings by Janine. You can find my co-host tonight, Janine Morijot, at Ascending Ravens here on YouTube, and also at Tarot by Janine. Janine, welcome back.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Jean-Claude.
How's it going?
I'm good. I haven't seen you two for a while.
I know it's been a while. And of course, folks, please welcome my other co-host for tonight, Julie. You can find her, of course, at Maison Jupiter here on YouTube and also on the web at maisonjupiter.com. And Julie, welcome back to the show.
Hey, Janine. Hey, JC. Missed you, Janine. We missed you.
Yeah, I missed you guys too.
It's been a weird week, Janine, hasn't it?
Yeah. It's definitely been a weird week, yeah.
Well, we did a show in your absence last week. We tried to hold the fort, and I think the audience members were really happy about that. We did, of course, miss the one this Monday night. You were prepping for all the funeral arrangements for your family. I missed the show last night, folks, and that was on me. I just had dental surgery yesterday, and I'm still a little bit off, so that's why I have two of my amazing guests to help me out pull through the show here tonight. But Janine, what do you feel like sharing a little bit where you're at right now? Because I've got still a ton of emails of people asking me how you're doing and all that. And I didn't want to share too much information. What can you tell the audience here, just to put them up to speed?
Well, interesting things. It turns out there's going to be some kind of an investigation into my mother's leaving so suddenly because it just was so odd. And I'm sure that's going to happen to a lot of people. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So, because it was just such a series of, and this is what I think was planned, like where you can't put a finger on something, but something's off, something's wrong, and anything that could go wrong does go wrong. It's almost like a booby-trapped energy that happens after those booby-trapped, cures.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I find that really interesting, but we're going ahead and we're having her celebration of life, I'm going to call it, tomorrow. So today's Wednesday, the 23rd, and tomorrow's the 24th. So we're having it on the 20th. I just lost track of days, but I know it's tomorrow and it's the 24th. Okay. So, but we're going ahead and having that anyway. But in the meantime, in the background, they're investigating. And so we won't physically have her ashes or anything, right? That'll be interesting. But I am just feeling really at peace because she came to me. I think it was Friday or it could have been Saturday morning. I woke up and she was lying beside me and smiling at me.
I think it was Saturday. You called me. We spoke about that. Saturday? Yeah, I think it was Saturday morning. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, it was Friday morning. You're right. It was Friday morning.
Was it Friday? Yeah. I couldn't remember which day, but lying beside me and smiling ear to ear. My mom has had an incredible smile. I know a lot of people mention my smile. It's identical to hers. And we were always, all the sisters have that big smile. And she touched my hand. So she was lying sort of with her shoulder to shoulder with me and touched my hand. And I just got sort of a download of how she was proud of me and what I was doing. And that she was going to be helping on the other side, and that I have to do my work. I have to get back. Basically, I couldn't slack off, she said. You have to get back on the horse and you got to get working because you're needed and that we're in crucial times. Mm-hmm. So it's like she's helping from the other side, which was I was on a high after that.
Right.
Even when I wrote you, I was literally on a high, or I think we talked.
Yeah, we talked. Yeah.
I was on emotional high, and it was absolutely lovely.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Wow. I'm getting chills again just hearing you recount that story. Maybe for the audience members too, Julie and I tried to recapture the moment of her passing. You talked about what kind of flew away with her. So do you want to explain that in your words here for the audience as well?
Yeah. So there was an eagle. So as soon as my brother and I, we were going in twos, only two at a time were allowed to visit. Mm-hmm. So we were going in twos in the family, and my brother and I, one of my brothers, because I have two brothers, my elder brother, I'm older than him, but he's the oldest of the two brothers. We went in the room, and the first thing I could feel, so for me, it's not a visual. The visual comes later. It's like my mind will fill in the visual, but I felt an eagle hovering over my mother. So she had all of these things keeping her alive. Like my dad said she'd actually left in front of them hours earlier. So they were literally just keeping her heart alive and keeping her heart beating. And even the doctor was saying to us, you know, there's not really no coming back from what's going on here. We're just doing everything we can, but it's absolutely a dire situation. So we knew that she was leaving, and my dad said she'd already left. Afterwards, he said, no, she left hours. And that's why he left the hospital. He said, my wife left. I saw her go. So there was this eagle hovering over her body, and it was waiting for her. And one of my sisters remembers when we have a lot of family members. There's 7 kids. So if I'm saying sister, brother, sister, there's a lot of us. But one of my other sisters passed away, and I believe it was 2012. I can't remember if it was 2011 or 2012. But anyway, she became an eagle. That was her totem. And Corrine, my eldest sister, she saw the eagle with my sister Barb. So we thought it was Barb waiting for her. We thought it was my sister waiting to take her.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Got chills.
Do you want me to share the picture of you and your mom, the one you posted on your Telegram for the audience here?
Sure.
All right. There you go.
Yeah.
When was this taken, Jenny?
Not too long ago, maybe 2 years ago, the fall of just before the lockdowns, I think.
That's a great picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we were wearing the same. I bought her a matching T-shirt. We both love the same colors, so we were both wearing our purple T-shirts.
Wow.
Love it.
That's incredible. Janine, do you feel comfortable maybe pulling cards? I'm guided to ask you this question, and feel free to say no if it's too personal. But just as your mom last Friday, when she came to you in the morning, she says, time to get back on the horse. And of course, you and her were at odds during these last 2 years on the global situation. And now from a bigger vantage point, she sees the picture and recognizes the work that you're doing. There are perhaps a lot of people in the audience who are also in that type of situation either right now or about to live that situation again. What would your mom say to those people too who are in that proximity of that, dealing with that situation as well?
Oh, that's a good one. So she's saying, be patient with them. This is patience and perseverance. It's also about universal timing. So don't push it. Like, wait till they're ready. Wait till they show interest in wanting to know more about what you're talking about. Because if you push it on them, they'll probably, close up even more. Yeah. And this card waits, visualizes and waits, and is, again, patience and perseverance. She knows that what's right and timely will come to her. So that feels like instead of making more conflict, just step out of the conflict, step away, and talk about different things with those people. Don't push the subject because you'll actually get more resistance. If they come around on their own, it's going to be better for them anyway.
Right.
And let the universe show them. The universe will show everybody soon, is what I figure. But yeah.
Wow. Okay. Folks, let's switch gears. I know we've been off air for a while here, so we're going to try tonight to answer a few more questions than we normally do from the audience tonight. We have a few articles also in the mainstream news that we want to explore this evening, but I will be paying more attention to the questions on the Discord chat and as well as the PayPal tip jar. So a big thank you to all of you for supporting us there. And this week, you have a chance to win this amazing creation here by Carla. So let me play this one. This is Ella the Pyramid.
Hi everyone, this is Carla from Ascension Organites. So today I'm really excited to show you this piece. Her name is Elena. So Elena was actually the second design that I ever made. And yeah, I did channel her name. It was one of those that was screaming in my ear. So Elena is made of lapis lazuli stone and aluminum metal. She also has a flower of life in silver. So lapis lazuli is known as like a protection stone against psychic attacks, much similar to turquoise. I think of Elena as like I made her with the intention of helping self-awareness, connect with your higher self, consciousness, awakening. So she's basically like my awakening pyramid. So it should be great for anyone that is starting the process or along the process to help it along. There's no really a set place to put Elena. You could put her anywhere around the house. Maybe a place where you spend most of your time, or a place where you can relax or meditate, things like that. So I'll give her a quick turn around again so you can see her. And there she is. Thank you so much.
I love it. I love the colors on that one. Of course, guys, if you want to pick up one of those amazing creations by Carla, you can do so at ascensionorganites.com. And there, if you use the coupon code BeyondMystic, you'll get another 10% off of those amazing creations. So big thank you to Carla. And we're up to date on all of the past winners of the pyramids. I think save one. I think one of last week's is not in yet. So if you heard your name last week and you haven't had your pyramid, check in your spam folder. I know Carla is still trying to reach one of you. Speaking of housekeeping, Janine, let's talk to the audience members here too. On Sending Ravens right now, you've been a little bit sparse in your recordings. What's coming up next in terms of interviews, maybe, or next shows that you're planning? What do you want to share with the audience here as you get back on the horse, so to speak?
Yeah, I'm going to be interviewing people, kind of like Catherine and I. She would have me on and ask me questions. I'm going to be the one having the guests. So I'll have a different guest on, and we'll try to do it once a week. I'm starting it with Ashley right at the very beginning of April. We're going to talk about our friendship. We're going to talk about how Ashley, came into, all the things she's into. And then I'm going to let each guest ask me a question with the cards at the very end. And it could be about anything. It could be a personal one for themselves, as long as they're okay with sharing it with everybody. Right. Or it can be a world event one, or something about their work, like that. So we're going to, at the end of each show, I'll answer one question for the guest. Cool. But we're all about the guests. But of course, I'll keep up with the news and whatnot.
So this is going to be these interviews on Sending Ravens or on Tarot by Janine?
On Sending Ravens. Okay. And I'm going to be putting more effort there, like where you're going to see videos at least 4 or 5 a week is what I'm hoping for. That's
very cool. Okay. Yeah. And I want to bring your attention also to the audience members for this one here. This is supposed to be tomorrow night, but of course, tomorrow night is the funeral for Janine's mother. So we are going to be rescheduling with Sherry Divban this show here that we were doing for the children. So Sherry and I were already in communication. So we're just trying to find another time to plot that into the schedule here a little bit sooner rather than later, seeing as we were really excited to do this show here. So stay tuned for that. We will be reposting that as well. On another note as well, Janine and I last weekend were not able to record our next Astro Woo Finance for the month of April and the Beyond Crypto Woo for the month of April. So right now, both of these episodes for the month of March are on sale. Save 22 is the coupon code for both of them. Now, for the Astro Woo, Julie, of course, has already made the prep for all of this. Julie, why don't we change gears here and talk about the alignments for April, some of the crazy astrological alignments, including the eclipses, and how that will be affecting big time the financial system here. We'll get into that, and then we'll get into some questions from the audience. Julie.
Yeah, sure. So when I did my research for the new episode for April that we're going to film, I believe this weekend, very excited about it. There's a lot of great astrological alignments, I think, for April. And I think the most important one being the start of the eclipse season, the first eclipse season that we're going to have in 2022. And so there's going to be 2 eclipse seasons in total for this year, one being April, May of this year, and at the end also of the year. So they always come in pairs. This time it begins with a new moon eclipse on April 30th. And following the new moon, we have the full moon 2 weeks later, which is a full moon eclipse. And they are the first eclipses since the nodes moved into the financial axis of Taurus and Scorpio. So it's very important for the financial sector, for the whole world, I would say. So the first one on April 30th is going to be a new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Taurus. And new moon always begin a new cycle. So, and we say that when it's a new moon eclipse, so it means it's close to the lunar nodes, it always involves some kind of fate, destiny element to it. So it's like 3 times more powerful than a regular new moon or a regular full moon. And so it's big collective changes, but also big personal changes, depending on where it falls in your chart. So we're in the Astro Woo, we're going to go over the eclipse season for every sign, depending on where it falls in your chart. But for the collective, for sure, it's going to be big changes in the financial sector. And also this new moon solar eclipse is conjuncting the planet Uranus. So Uranus is always linked to surprise and also unexpected events. So even though I'm trying to guess what could happen around that date, Uranus is for sure a big surprise kind of energy that we cannot really expect. So very important fated cycles. And also, like when we see big changes in the world, it always connects with eclipses. So we can feel the influence of an eclipse about a month before the actual date of the eclipse. And the changes are going to be influential for about 6 months afterwards. So these are big events. Wow. And this one is connected to the North Node, which means that we're going to be moving towards more of our future with the Taurus energy. So new financial system, more abundance for everybody. But first, of course, we have to kind of destroy the old system. So conjuncting Uranus, I think this one is going to be big for crypto, for silver also. North Node always shows what is going to gain value. It talks about sudden reversal in the world of finance because it's linked to Taurus, of course. And I think it's going to favor a lot all of the decentralized assets because of Uranus being in the sign of Taurus. And the sun and the moon are going to be conjunct very close to Uranus and the North Node. So it's going to be like a big energy ushering us even more into the age of Aquarius, I feel.
Wow, fascinating. Well, as I was doing the research also for the Beyond Crypto Woo, I'm tracking a lot of this crypto legislation around the world. I'm tracking this yield curve inversion this week, the sudden decision from the Fed to raise rates, which of course they cannot do without crashing the system. So all of this is happening at the same time as we're dealing with supply chain shortages and the whole situation, the theater itself in Europe right now. And on that note as well, we saw last week that different countries were starting to sell their petroleum for other currencies other than the US dollar. So we had heard about that last August or July, but now we're seeing the ramifications and the consequences of that. And just as of yesterday, Russia also announced that they would be asking aggressive countries to pay for their energy bills in ruble. And in order to obtain ruble, of course, you have to buy them with gold. So basically, this is a gold-backed standard that is now taking effect, even though the mainstream news is not talking to you about that. Janine and I will be putting all of those dots together here when we record on Saturday. So while I have you on the screen, Julie, for the astrology, also, a lot of people were asking me in the chat earlier today, hey, it was your birthday this weekend, but it was on the spring equinox. So let me bring up this picture here. Yes. Let's talk about the spring equinox, these energies, how you can use this energy even now in this window to let go of the old, but to really focus on these new energies. What would you recommend to the audience here to catapult themselves using these current energies?
Well, this is a very powerful time to manifest for the next year. So this is the real new start of the year, the astrological year that starts on May 20th. So it started three days ago. You're still in this window of manifestation, I would say. Also, we're having this big conjunction in the sign of Pisces that is going to be exact between Jupiter and Neptune on the 12th, but it's also very close at the time of the equinox. So meaning this is like a time to try to manifest, at least put the intention in the universe of what's your big dreams, what type of big dreams you want to achieve. This is like a big dreams type of energy, Jupiter and Pisces in their own sign of Neptune. So it's like a triple manifestation power. And it's like, I feel like we're having like two parallel universes right now. One is like the old world dying off, and the other one is like this new world we're building. But in order to be able to build this new world, I feel like it's, and I know, Janine, you talked about it in your video today, it has to do a lot with visualization, and Pisces is very attached to this concept of being able to visualize, manifesting your thoughts. So any type of manifestation ritual that you could do, including doing a visual board, including writing down your intentions, I think it's going to be big. And also, don't be afraid to dream really big with this Pisces energy, because it's going to be favoring those kind of dreams.
Very good. So let's ask Janine to pull some cards on that as well. What does universe have to say about this spring equinox, specifically this one in 2022, with all the alignments, and of course ushering ourselves here into the age of Aquarius, and what that means for the audience members?
I saw your birth numbers on the cake there.
Yeah, there was an inversion. I think it was supposed to say 25. Somebody at the maitre d' at the restaurant on Saturday, he said, "Oh, happy 25th anniversary, sir." I'm like, "Yeah, thank you."
Yeah, thank you very much. Hey, you're catching up to me.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Sophie Landriot in the chat says, "Oh, tu fais pas 50 ans, JC." She says, "You don't look 50." I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah,
thank you
so
for that." Although tonight I look a little bit beaten up, I'm a little bit tired, and still
not 50. Still
from
not
the
50.
operation. Thank you.
They beat you up in the dentist chair, though.
Oh yeah, they did. Yeah.
That's par for the course, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Halfway through, I almost walked out and said, "I can't take it anymore. I just want to go home." But I'm like, "No, I got to finish this thing finally."
Wow.
All right, go ahead, Janine.
This is interesting. So the same cards is what I got when we asked my mother about how to deal with people, lagging behind a little in the wake up department who are in our family. Okay, similar cards. So this card's about universal timing, and it's about patience and perseverance and temperance. So things coming together exactly when they need to and should. Okay, and we've got the strength card here. So there's a lot of power. And the background of this card is this woman is taming her inner beasts. So the parts of her world or herself or her own personality or whatever it is you're asking about. Okay, she's taming them with love, patience, and her own self-love. So she's coming with maturity, self-love, and grace, as opposed to she's not being aggressive and trying to wrestle that lion. She's taming it with love and compassion for herself or for the situation or for others. So that's interesting. So that almost feels like we could put that on the world, right? So we've had to have a lot of patience, because we are in a time when the whole world feels like we're trying to tame, in this case, the dark cult.
Yeah.
We're trying to rid the world of it in a way, but this card indicates that we have the strength to do it. And we've been patient, and the universe has our back. I think we're being helped by the universe to tame that beast that's been on our back, really, and been in the background of everything. Okay, we're actually having power over it. We learn self-love. We learn to keep our eyes open. We learn to self-love includes good boundaries. I talked a lot about good boundaries. That's come up in the card so many times. Humans in general need to have good boundaries with their governments, with all of their systems. We need to tell them how it works, not they don't tell us how it works. Those people work for us. We vote them in. Everything's backwards, right? We had to get that in line. We had to recognize our own strength and power in numbers and step up and take control of our world again. And we're doing it with grace and universal timing and with the universe's help. And this card was in the middle, the very same card. Like, so interesting, like all the three same cards, but in different places. So she manifests the world that she wants again, by just knowing, her inner knowing manifests it. She imagined that world that's in her lap, and now it comes to be.
It's very Taurus, and I believe you had that card too in your reading, your video of today.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think we're going to manifest that big alignment. I think it's going to really help us manifest. And I think the universe is going to have a say in how things go to our advantage, because don't forget, we are part of the universe and we're loved by that part of the universe. We are loved.
Cool.
Yeah.
There's a few comments in the chat. Oh, 50. It's all downhill from there. I don't feel that way. I actually feel a lot younger than 50. There's quite a few out there saying, hey, you look young. And yeah, 50 is the new 25. I feel that way. So I have a picture on the slide deck of me at the restaurant enjoying myself. Do you guys want to see that? Because you only see me here, right? So give me a big yes in the live chat if you want to see a picture of me at the restaurant table in my spiffy birthday suit outfit. Not that birthday suit.
Like
an actual suit. Yeah, I dressed up on Saturday, so I'm looking. Okay, yes with a bunch of yes. Okay, so let me show you this. All right, there you go.
Ooh, there you go.
Classy.
Are you manifesting silver with that suit?
Yeah, exactly. I love it.
Very silver. Yeah, I love it.
And this is where, of course, wait, hold on. Let me take this little thing off of me here. This was where the maitre d' said, yeah, happy 25th anniversary, sir. So like, okay, yeah, sure. Thank you. Appreciate that. It was fun. And of course, this was the last weekend here in Ontario where we're supposed to wear face diapers inside. So we got to see our waitress for the first time in a long time. We didn't even know what she looked like. And so I thought that was absolutely fun. So yeah, things are somewhat... it's not normal, but it's a new normal at any rate. But I did have a lot of fun. And I have to say a big thank you to all of you all last week, really, since last week. And since Janine did this wonderful shout out also yesterday for my birthday. This brought tears to my eyes, by the way, Janine. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Especially that you were thinking of me. And I know you've been going through difficult times also. So a big thank you to that. And a big thank you to all of you in the live chat also, and through emails and Twitter everywhere. You guys really made this century birthday really special for me, so I was really happy. On that note too, I have a bunch of stuff, like my office is full of little boxes that I have to open up from the PO box thing, and I just haven't had time. So maybe this Saturday I'll do an opening video, or a box opening video, and I'll share that with you guys as well to get that up to date. So again, a big thank you to all of you. All right, let's get into one of the news stories tonight that I thought was kind of odd. It was yesterday, I think this was posted. This was Mr. T explaining here that Mr. P was not the same Mr. P as he was in the past. And of course, he had said this about Mr. B also. So it very much seems now that there's a narrative starting to grow where in officialdom, they're hinting at you that a lot of people might have been replaced. That's the gist of this story, guys, if you haven't seen it. First, Janine, your impressions on that, and then I'll ask you some questions to see if we can dig a little further.
I think they're ready to reveal cloning. I think they're ready to reveal that a lot of people in power right now, or who appear to be in power, a lot of people in Hollywood, the few that you still even see around aren't who you think they are, and possibly are clones. I think they're just, this is all going to come out. So it's soft exposure. That would be my intellectual sort of take on it.
Wow. You know what? It makes so much sense with the conjunction that we're having on April 12 with Jupiter and Neptune, because Neptune is like the planet of illusion and Jupiter is the planet of truth. So it's like revealing the illusion, lifting the veil. And I haven't thought about all the cloning, but it makes so much sense too.
Wow. Okay. Well, here's the thing about this particular scenario. Now, in Mr. T's little spiel here, he said that Mr. P was not the same. And presumably he was talking of just a couple of years ago when Mr. T was our president here. Whereas you and I, Janine, seem to think that Mr. P was actually switched maybe as far back as 12 years ago.
Yeah.
So is Mr. T here hinting that perhaps there's been another switch as of late? What can the cards pull on that?
Let's have a look.
Yeah. Or maybe that's just too complicated for the narrative, but he slipped that in anyways, referring to the old Mr. P. I'm not sure. I just got confused when I'm listening to that. I'm like, wait, does he mean that it's been switched over once again? What does he mean?
I feel like he was letting the cat out of the bag about all the illusions. Okay, so I don't think it was as specific as that, maybe, because this feels like he's getting ready. They might be getting ready for a big move, a big chess move. And those illusions are going to come out anyway, because this is clearing up a lot of, like, there's a lot of fuzziness in this card. And it's sort of a dysfunctional card. It's illusions and delusions card. Okay, like this person looking at all of these cups, they don't know which one's safe and which one isn't safe. And every time they look closely at any of those cups, the cup turns from one thing to another. So it's not what it appears. Okay, so I'm having the feeling when I look at these two, because this card's being brazen and brave and in your face about something. He's putting it in your face that the world isn't what you think it is. So I think it's soft exposure, like I was saying. And this in the past. So we've got the page of, I think they're also getting really ready to out the mainstream media. Okay, because there's been so many lies and deceptions and around people we think are real, aren't real. Like they've been literally lying to us about the Queen, Philip, like he left way sooner. Like so many things have been hidden from us.
Yeah.
Some for good reason and others for deception reasons. And I feel like they're getting ready, because this card wasn't quite ready, but they're getting ready to let us in on it. So we're not in on it yet, but I think they're like moments away from, in the world, letting all the normies in on it. So I feel like it's more of a narrative he's talking about, not specifics.
Okay, that's interesting. Somebody on the screen here, Queenie75, says, Jean-Claude, remember that last year Mr. P went away for a while. They said he was isolated. And as I was reading that, I think that happened way back when too. There was another period of time. So let's ask, generally speaking, where he was isolated. As I'm asking that, I feel off-world. Let's answer the cards if Mr. P was perhaps being trained, or, for lack of better terms, trained off-world for what he's doing right now.
Yep. You got a big yes. Interesting. This is in the now. So we've got that. And it's surrounded by, this feels like a balance. So I think he used to belong to the bad guys. And he's been switched back and forth, and now he belongs to the good guys. So I wonder if they needed to program him or train him, like you said, if he's an actual double or is he a clone. Maybe they needed to program him to do work that's more for the good guys, because this card's about careful planning. So they took him off to carefully plan, and a big yes on the did he go off world, because as you were saying that, I pulled the yes.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So, cool. Speaking of going off world, somebody else died either yesterday or today, and it's Jordan Maxwell, a very knowledgeable esoteric person. Let me see if I can bring up his image here. But I wanted to ask the cards if he perhaps had anything to say, because he's been educating the public for decades now on the reality of everything: our language, our educational systems, financial systems, religious systems, specifically the astro theology systems, and how all of these things that we think are true are actually inverted. He's been doing an amazing job at that. And I wonder, now that he's on the other side, what he would say to the audience, because he often said here that when he was here, he wasn't able to say everything he wanted to say for fear of his life. There were certain lines that, of course, he wasn't allowed to cross. So what would Jordan say to the audience?
Oh, he's very much a wise one, and somebody who's been maybe lifetimes bringing truth. and often in the hot seat over it, because this is our witch of the tarot. So she's always hunted because she brings so much truth and honesty, and she's right in your face with it. Okay, so he was probably doing this for lifetimes, what he's doing, bringing truth, right? And he's always been just a little outside the box here, feeling like, and I think he also is combined with alien race and or off-worlder, let's say. So I don't think he's entirely an earthling, if that makes sense.
He did have some ET experiences at Area 51 that he talked about.
Okay.
And I was trying to get him on the show with Jay Widener to talk about astrotheology here. And of course, now Universe has different plans. So anyways, my heart goes out to Maxwell, for Jordan, for all of his work over the last number of decades and the isolation that caused him to. He had a lot of trouble with the deep state trying to take away his data and his books. And
this was in the past. So a lot of stress.
Yeah.
He had a lot of stress over what he knew.
Yeah.
And what a truth sayer he was. But he also had relatives. So I feel like he came here with that mission, like a lot of us. But in his case, very specifically, he had known relatives from other places in the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because like he has family members there where he would actually know who they were.
Yeah.
Connected like that. Like some of us feel like we do, but we don't always know who they are or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, he's a little bit, he's a little bit sad he couldn't deliver everything. So he did leave maybe a few years before. He was hoping it could be safe to say everything, but he missed out on some of the goodies that he wanted to say.
And I wonder if he has a dead man switch somewhere where perhaps his knowledge is written down somewhere and maybe delivered to somebody, at 3 a.m. in a satchel saying, hey, these are Jordan's, do publicize him now that he's dead. That'd be interesting.
He might have left it with a young sort of apprentice or something. Male, younger, and who's got maybe a hold of his knowledge, maybe was told things. So it could come out unexpectedly from somebody who's maybe they're waiting for things to be a little bit safer, maybe.
Do you think perhaps it's Jay Widener? Let's ask.
Is he younger than that other fellow?
He would be an apprentice in the level of esoteric knowledge, although Jay Widener would be a master compared to most of us watching the show. But in terms of Jordan, you could say that way. Now, I'm not sure about the age gap, though. But it would seem to me, I know Jordan really liked him also and had a lot of respect for him. So, and they did an interview just maybe 2 months ago, too, and you saw the energy and the camaraderie between both of them, too. And I was hoping to see more shows of them together. They really bridged that information really well to the two of them.
They were definitely like sort of in some kind of partnership work-wise, because this is a real worker card and that's a partnership card. So they worked closely together or with similar knowledge, it looks like. But we've got the devil here. So something might stop that fellow you had on screen from bringing it. I don't know what. But this is saying he might be bedeviled if he tries to bring it out. So maybe he's been threatened or he's maybe he's got some reason why he can't personally bring it.
That's interesting because Jay also has original photos of the moon, which were not edited by NASA. And so Jay has a lot of these things as well. So that's why I thought, he could be a nexus point for all of this information. Okay. That's fascinating news. Speaking of the news, Hillary Clinton, oh my God, she's testing positive today, and so is Jen Psaki at the White House. We had this on the boards a number of years ago on repeat, that when things were about to hit the fan, her health here, she would get what they call the Sicilian flu, that flu that the Italian mafia gets just before they go to trial and they can't go to trial. So are we looking at here maybe a trigger to maybe a demise here, either financially, politically? They said that her health would deteriorate and then maybe her wealth and then maybe the rest of it. Again, not quoting literally here some of those boards, but those of you following that, you know what I'm talking about. So let's see from the cards here what we have in store for
That's in the past. She's already off the earth, like she's left her body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, quite a long time ago. Like quite a long time ago. But I feel like they've got so much on her. Maybe they're going to start really letting it out, letting the cat out of the bag, as it were. Yeah, it's a strategy to let people know something. It's like a signal of some kind.
Okay.
Think about that 17th letter of the alphabet signaling when they say somebody's got the, dreaded,
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because, when you and I were talking about this last year, Cliff High had pulled in the cards that he thought that we would see a trial, whether she's dead or not, but we would be given bubblegum TV eventually to get the truth, and it would be a clone appearing in trial maybe. But he saw that, I believe, in October of 2023. And when you pulled the cards, he's like, no, I think you had April, May, or June of 2022. So this could be just around the corner from that. You want to take a poll on the cards to see when perhaps this show trial here of getting this information might come out? Are we looking at days, weeks, or maybe a year?
It could be really soon with these cards. These are minor arcanas. It literally, it's like they're setting it up. And it could be within a month's time, even with that page. I'd say.
Okay.
I can add to that. I think it's going. I think I kind of have an idea, because the first eclipse is going to be on April 30th, and the second one is going to be an full moon eclipse in Scorpio on May 16. So I think it's going to be around May 16, because it is going to be full moon. So closure of a cycle, Scorpio, which is like all dark hats related secrets, power secrets, and also conjuncting the South Node, which is like past karma that we're going to purge out. So it's going to be out in the open. So I really feel like it's going to be around that May 16 full moon eclipse in Scorpio.
Okay.
He's also a Scorpio.
Oh, well. That makes so much sense. Yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, for our next question, and I'm just going to load up here the PayPal tip jar. Big thank you to all of you there. Before I get into that, let's do this one. Biden released here his Russian cyber attack warning, telling all Americans that we're here now, that we are about to maybe hacked in some way, and that this could affect everything from our banking system to electricity distribution to supply chain management. You and I have talked about this for the last couple of months. Let's pull some cards now to see if this could happen still in the sporadic way that we kept seeing it for the last couple of months, Janine. And then I'll also ask you, Julie, to bring in if there's any astrology here that might bring in this type of blackout or hacking or blackout that could result of this hacking as well. Let's go with Janine first.
I'm thinking they're signaling by him saying that something we've been waiting for and wishing for is about to happen. Could be days away. So that could be the EBS, that could be the all kinds of things. The things maybe we thought would like it would start out looking bad, but it would turn into a white hat op. Okay, that's what it feels like. And it'll look bad at first. So him saying that looks like it's just a signal for something else. It would look really bad. We'd have to surrender to, okay, are we all locked down again? Do we have martial law? What's going on? But it'll be much shorter than you first think and not nearly as painful, but it'll look really bad at first. So I think they're gearing up for a big move here. And he's just somehow signaling it by saying that. That's what I'm getting.
Okay. Julie, what do you have to add?
Yeah, well, at the end of March, we have a conjunction between Saturn, Venus, and Mars in the sign of Aquarius. So I was thinking that it was going to be some sort of control, that it was going to be attempted at least with an Aquarius. It talks about internet, it talks about digital. So I wrote in my notes maybe some sort of digital ID, attempt, but also it's like an attempt to control internet information, and it can also be cyber attacks. So I'm thinking it could be definitely a possibility, and it's going to square Uranus. So again, Uranus surprises. We never know really what to expect. So that's kind of one of those curveballs I think that they're trying to throw. I don't know if it's going to work, but for sure there's the potential for that in the astrology for end of the month. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Let's get into our PayPal tip jar. So Merle says, thank you for all you do. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Cindy Sims, lots of love to you, JC. Belated happy birthday. Thank you. My love for you and your family. Janine. I too enjoy Phil. We know who we're talking about. However, his strong belief in the flat earth makes me question his other intel. Your thoughts?
I have looked at flat earth a couple of times. People have sprung it on me. I didn't set out to, like, I'm not quite ready to have
my
that.
question, and me neither. My question is not that. It's just like, okay, how do you consolidate listening to somebody when most of their stuff makes sense, but then to you, and whether it makes sense or not to the audience members, we're not giving a recommendation either way. How do you juxtapose in your mind somebody who has something that makes sense and then something else that you think is absolutely preposterous, making it difficult for you to understand the rest of that information? And it appears that a lot of truthers are in that category. Is that by design? Is that something that is supposed to be there in order to help people use and better educate themselves on their power of discernment? Is that what's happening? Or are these guys kind of like that tabloid that you and I were talking about last month, where it's very absurd just so that people don't take it seriously, but in fact they're using it as a stepping stone to basically read the audience on what they would or would not believe in terms of mainstream news? So what's going on with these truthers that have these weird juxtaposition of, I guess, mentalities? I don't know how to say it.
He looks like he genuinely believes in it. Okay. And when I did look at it in the cards, I got that it wasn't flat or round. It was, maybe it's more of an illusion than we think, or maybe it's changeable, but it looked like it wasn't exactly this or that. So them saying that could help people ready for the truth, which might be somewhere in the middle.
Well, and from my perspective also, I mean, they've lied to us about every other thing we know about. So, I mean, is it possible they're lying as to where we are and what we are located on? Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And people say, well, I saw pictures. Yeah, but who gave you those pictures? Again, we don't know anything. We don't know anything.
Yeah. So I never worry about, like, lots of, like, some people don't buy, everything I'm talking about all the time, but they really like this portion of what I say.
Yeah.
Okay. So they just come and listen to me for the part they like. Just because somebody doesn't have the same philosophy or they go off on a tangent, I always go off on sort of anti-Catholicism tangents. And so at the beginning, I was really bad, and people tolerated me and still liked me anyway.
Yeah. And if you look at and if you look at old maps, I mean, there was a continent at the North Pole, and now, of course, it's a blurred out section on Google Maps. So what's at the North Pole? So when I hear this flat Earth theory or whatever it is, I always think, well, it's possible that even the map of our continents is not exactly what we are portrayed, and that maybe we are perhaps sequestered in a little corner of this planet, and we are under quarantine. We're the slave farm, and then there's maybe some other continents with other people who don't live the same reality as us on the planet. Yeah. Very possible. Yeah. We should probably do a deep dive on that, Janine. Do a show.
Yeah, we should.
Yeah. Okay. I'll keep notes. I hope you guys think that's interesting. Let us know in the chat if you want us to do that. I'll do that for you guys. Okay. Will my daughter and I be able? Oh, let me see if I can bring this up. Linda Mirabella. I love that. Will my daughter and I be able to heal our relationship? Merci beaucoup, Linda. Appreciate that.
Wow. Big yes on that. So it looks like the person asking the question's just been keeping all their info to themselves lately, because that's like us keeping it quiet and being subtle about it. And this is the daughter card. So the daughter is thinking about, so on their unconscious, they've heard what the mother says. And that was a mother that asked the question, I believe. Yeah.
Mhm.
They've heard what the mother says and they're considering it, but they're not going to let on that they're considering it. Okay, so it's sitting in the unconscious. Okay, then a world event or things in the world will change. That could even be astrologically, but things will shift naturally, karmically. Okay, and oh, this was the outcome. So that's a healing card. So they'll slowly come back together when things shift in the world. So let the world teach her, and she'll come back listening to her mother. So yes, they're going to heal their relationship. It might take like 1.5 years or 2 years to really get to that place, but they're coming around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good news. Next one, Rochelle Moore. Hi there. My daughter remembers waking up on some sort of ship with a man working on her. She wants to know, is it real or just a dream?
Oh, it's absolutely real. It's absolutely real. Wow. Wow. It looks like there might have been a touch and go experience there where they were. I'll just tell you the story I got as soon as I laid out the cards, and it's a little bit hard. So I'm just gonna be just as honest as I can.
Okay.
Okay. So I got that card and that card. So I feel like she was abducted and or taken, and things went badly. So she might have even been taken by not good off-worlders. Okay. And held. Okay. And then she was strategically saved. So a very similar story as Megan Rose's story that she tells. So she was taken by not good off-worlders that meant harm, and she could have even went the way of never returning with that moon card and the tower. Okay, and then she was strategically brought around by somebody meaning well, who doesn't wish to be exposed just yet, or doesn't wish to step out of the shadow, but she was being worked on to be healed and brought back so she could be placed back in her earth home. So she was rescued in the middle of an operation by bad off-worlders. So I hope that's not too scary to hear, but that's what I get.
Okay. Okay, very good. The next question is from the Insider Access Pass, CJ Bluebird. Maybe you can do this one, Julie. My question, my dad is self-employed, Sun Aries and rising Pisces. Will his project be successful?
You asking me or Julie?
I'll ask you first with the tarot, Janine, and then we'll put in the astrology on that. Does that make sense? So go ahead, Janine, and pull some cards first. Yeah, that's a good point.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah. So, okay, hold on. too many windows that open at once. Okay, CJ Bluebird question. My dad is self-employed, Sun Aries and rising Pisces. Will his project be successful? My parents be financially secure? Okay, it's two questions. Well, basically the same thing. Will this project create abundance?
Yeah. So amazing. That looks like a big yes, especially if they keep visualizing and intending it. So visualizing and intending it first of all, will help it create itself. So the Aries action-oriented and getting the work done, but the Pisces believing, visualizing, and using their magic, that combination could really work, because this feels like if they keep the vision, they can absolutely turn their world around to the positive with it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I had the same response as Janine, so I'm happy for the validation. Pisces rising signs, you have like the most manifestation power right now for with Jupiter and Neptune both in your first house. So first house is like personal projects, manifestation power, like a full power. And also Aries sun in his second house. So meaning he kind of had to be self-employed. I was part of his soul journey, because having Aries in your second house is like being independent and having being able to create projects that are really aligned with you and make your own money with the second house. And the eclipse, the first one that we're going to have on April 30th, is going to fall in his third house. So it's really great to start any kind of project that involves third house aspects. So communication, social media, anything related to business, to technology, trading, even if it's related to crypto, to technology. So I think there's a great potential with this chart for sure.
Okay, wow, that's very good. Julie, while I have you on also, let's see if I can bring up this last poster here of our Beyond Mystic silver bar design. I know you've been in contact with the technicians who are making the die for the bar. How's that going along, and what do you see in terms of process there, in terms of striking our first bar?
Yeah, lots of emails were exchanged today on that silver bar. So yeah, they were saying that the way they're making this silver bar, I think, is poured instead of stamped, if I understood correctly. So we had to modify the design just a little bit with less filling in the design, so more lines instead of fillings. But they were saying we're going to be able to do it. So I was trying to respond as soon as I could, because I really want to be able to get those out as soon as we can.
Okay, very good. So guys, if you want to be on the waiting list for as soon as they become available, you can do so here by entering the form at beyondmystic.net/silver bar. No commitment, just putting your name on it. It'll give Andy an indication of how many we need to strike. This was, of course, going to be a limited run, and I want to give the Beyond Mystic audience the first dibs on it before they go to the public. So do go check it out, beyondmystic.net/silver. And in terms of silver, Janine, what's going on in the world of silver? Can we take a beat also? Yep. We just heard again this week that Russia is now charging for their energy to hostile countries for them to buy in ruble, which means that they have to get gold in order to get ruble. So we're getting into this gold standard right now. How close are we to change here in terms of the prices of silver?
So 2 pages. So I feel like everything's sort of put in place, and all depending on when a couple of other things happen. So it's like it's not really about will it happen? That's a given. It looks like it feels like it's more dependent on a couple other things that have to be put in place first. We've got surrender in the middle. So surrender to the timing depends on a couple other things that have to go down first. And then this is the near future. So this is when it really goes valuable. So it does look like it really shoots up like we've been seeing. And the timings, everything to do with, we have to surrender. Although this is a 10, so 10s are ending the wait. You know what I mean? But these 2 cards say there's a couple of things that have to go down first before it can be let off the leash, as I say.
Okay, very good. And Julie, in terms of the astrology, also for silver, I think you were looking originally when you thought May, probably June was the big months also for the real price movement. Cliff was just saying in the chat earlier today with Joe and myself that a lot of the other temporal markers around the $600 silver were now filling up. So it appears now that we're in that time zone, however long it takes for that to manifest. But it appears those temporal markers now are dropping really, really fast. Julie, the astrology?
Well, I thought the eclipse on April 30th was going to start like a real price increase for silver, because we're having those eclipses, the first ones in the financial axis. So big movements with the Fed, with the dollar, with the fiat currencies. So I think it's going to really benefit all the decentralized assets, including silver and crypto. And also Taurus, which is the sign in which the eclipse is going to be in on April 30th, is related to silver. And we've got the North Node, which talks about inflation and a bigger value. So for me, it starts on April 30th and around that date, and it's going upwards for the rest of the year.
Okay, very interesting. And somebody just commented that Big Swear said it might go down by the end of the month with their their manipulations here, which means it would be a good buying opportunity. But the problem with that is there's not a lot of silver to be had right now. So if you're trying to time this for a lower price, you might not be lucky. At any rate, we have the 1 ounce Trump silver coins right now available at $6.25 over a spot. They are collectible coins, but they are in stock here on beyondmystic.net/silver. We also have the 2022 Silver Britannias at $5.50 over a spot. And this is new. Oh, there's not new. They came out with these a couple of years ago. I think they're really cool. It's like a credit card, basically, of silver pieces that you can break up in smaller pieces. These are the Valcambi silver bars. Really cool. Check that out. That's $89 over melt value of this particular size credit card style silver bar. So check it out. That's beyondmystic.net/silver. And for the Canadian audience, you can find the 10 ounce silver bars on sale here at mfbullion.ca. As we wrap up the show, Janine, let's pull some cards on the collective here. We're Wednesday night. So Cliff was telling me just the last day. Okay, I want to do this one. He was saying that in the last 5 days specifically, something in the energy around the planet shifted. I felt that too, body-wise, energy-wise. A lot of the people in the audience sent me emails about this also. What can we read about this energy that's shifted? Are we moving into a different timeline? Did we break a lot of the things that used to hold up the matrix, which we're not aware yet, but are they actually broke? What's going on with these last 5 days of this shift of energy that a lot of us are feeling physically and emotionally?
Interesting. Wow, there's repeat cards here today. And I've been shuffling.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't shuffle. Okay, so we've got that Chariot again. So speeded up energy, taking more risks and chances. And then we've got the World. So these two together, so it's like a tether was released energetically. So it's like something that was holding us back has now been severed, and it gives more power to all the changes we've been visualizing and we know are going to happen. So I feel like it's one more, when you see a rope and it's just got one more little piece between it and the snapping of the rope, I feel like it's like that. We're a lot closer to when everything snaps and the whole facade tumbles down and everybody has to see what's been going on. I feel like it's an energy like that. There's an energy like that around. And we've all wished for it really hard in the past. That's why I'm maybe likening it to that. So when everybody gets in on the truth, regardless if they listen or not, that's beside the point. But when they can't keep it from the general population anymore, okay, and it's all out there, okay, and we've wished for it, so that must be what I'm talking about. And this card was around as well, this is that illusions card. So I feel like we're dropping the veil and we're that much closer to never going back over to that kind of muck that we've been in literally for thousands of years. We've been held captive and they can't do it anymore because we know now, and we're not putting up with it. It's like somebody in a bad relationship when they've been beaten down and they finally come to that self-love where they just know they're more worthy and they'll never put up with that again. We're never going to put up with that dark cult again.
Right. Wow. Fascinating time. Yeah. Okay. And let's do one last question. I'll ask Julie, and maybe Janine, you want to chime in on this one as well. This was Jay Rocco earlier in the chat. I had saved the question. I'm bringing it back. I wanted to keep it for the last year. What is the reason for us, the Beyond Mystic family, being brought together? I thought that was absolutely apropos. I love that. Julie, do you want to start? Do you want to pull some cards?
Yeah. What do you want to do? You're going to love the card I just pulled for that. Okay. It says called. And it says soul gifts and training. It's time to step up. So it's like we're all in this school together, this spiritual school, and we're all being called to act on our mission, personal missions and collective missions also. So it's like like a group, a support group, where we're having a training. As Cliff said, I think he said the Woo cause, right? Like we're students of the Woo. So we're kind of learning together and also supporting each other in the mission. So it's beautiful.
I love it. Janine, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, I get the support part for sure. Well, I get all of the parts that Julie mentioned, but my cards pulled up a support. So it's like we're a support group to help each other through because it's been really trying. Okay, there's been really hard days. And when some of us are having hard days, the other ones pick up the slack. When somebody, even on the program itself, so one of us three, Julie, myself, or Jean-Claude are having a hard time, the others chime in and pick up the slack. It's been going like that on the show, but also in the audience. So we get all of this also love and crescendo of love energy from the people viewing and all the comments. And it really keeps us all on our toes and going forward. We're helping everybody watching. They're helping us. We wouldn't even be doing it without the viewers. Like we're helping each other and nurturing each other to a better world.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Very good.
Also, if I can add to that, like on that card, I just noticed there's like a portal. We're entering into a new phase through a portal. So it's like, I feel like this 3D to 5D transition. You're the Torii gate on your logo. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're transitioning all together. And I feel like the fact that we're a big number of us doing it at the same time and supporting each other, it makes it a lot bigger for the frequency rise in on planet Earth. So it makes it that much important also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very good. Julie, we are going to be recording here the Astro Woo, the Zodiac's Guide this weekend here for the month of April. In the meantime, for the audience members who want to perhaps get their hands on one of those personalized birth charts, what's the schedule like right now in your production list? And also talk about the new products we've added for Sophie for the tarot readings.
Yeah, so I'm about a week right now of production delay for the birth charts. So these are great. And they come with a 15 to 20 page report that's going to be sent in a PDF format with all your planetary position and also important alignments.
So here's my PDF report. Of course, I've got this bound for my birthday. So a big thank you, Julie, for that. And I've got this one framed also. Can I show that? Can I show that, Julie? Is that okay if I show that?
For sure.
Bring that up. All right, wait, hold on. Let me see if we can bring that up. Yeah, so this is what it looks like. Of course, if you guys want to go and frame it yourselves also, this is absolutely amazing. Wow. So it's going to be on my board here right next to my table. So a big thank you for that. That was a beautiful Christmas gift, or birthday gift. I really like that.
It was supposed to be your Christmas gift, but I had trouble to find your frame. So it turned out as a birthday present.
Well, universe provides. You know how it goes. Okay, very good. And last but not least, also the bookings for Sophie. What does that look like right now? What are the availabilities for Sophie?
Right now, with the regular bookings, the first one, the 1 hour tarot, we're booking in May, I think beginning of May. But there's also a few spots left if you need like a more of an emergency appointment with Sophie. If you have precise questions, you can have a 30-minute appointment. And I think she has some slots open in the next days, weeks.
Okay, very good. And folks, there also you can use BeyondMystic as the coupon code. We'll give you 10% off either the birth charts or also the bookings. Now, Janine, let's go back to you here with Sending Ravens. What's going on there with all those beautiful products? How are you with delivery right now also?
Really good. Really good. Like I said, we had that trouble around Christmas and New Year's, and a lot of people had to wait, which we were very sorry about that. But we caught all up, and Sandy ordered like enough for, she thinks, a year. So let's hope. Let's hope. And I mean, depends on.
Well, knowing the BeyondMystic audience, that's probably a month's worth.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So anyway, right now we're caught up with everything, and everything's going out tickety boo. So wonderful products, and we get such really, really good response from them. I mean, they're literally delicious, like literally delicious.
Check it out, guys, at sendingravens.com. And Julie, somebody's asking in the chat, Julie, can I order my chart to be framed like the one in Jean-Claude?
I'm sorry, no. For now, it's a digital product, so I send a PDF with both the birth chart and the report. But you'll be able to frame it in the frame of your choice.
And
I did that with mine too. I purchased a frame and I framed it. It was pretty easy. It's already the right size, at least.
Right. So it's easy to do. Okay. And the other thing you didn't mention here in this particular product, this is the PDF that comes with the birth chart. Now it's printed out in my case here, but you've added a specific section here because it was my birthday to talk about this solar return. Now, is that also a product you're going to be adding to the website for the audience members also who are looking at their solar return and their birth dates?
Yeah, I'm thinking about adding that product in the next weeks to months. And I've got a demand also. I've got an email this week just about that too. Once you have your birth chart, then you'll be able to know the predictions for the year ahead, starting as your birthday, and it's called the solar return. So I'm gonna work on that very very soon.
Okay, very good. Wow, thank you so much, everyone. Meadow Rat. Okay, I'll take the thumbs up, the hearts, and the loves there. This was another episode of Tarot Readings by Janine. And of course, you can go and subscribe to Janine here at Sending Ravens on YouTube and also here on Tarot by Janine. And don't forget to also go and subscribe here at Maison Jupiter on YouTube. And if you haven't done so already, I'm trying to hit that darn 70,000 number here on mine. So if you haven't hit that thing, give me a like and a subscribe also here on Beyond Mystic 3. I love you guys. Have a great evening, and we'll see you soon. Au revoir.
Au revoir.